And now, Cheap Heat.
Hey guys, I'm very excited. Why, you ask? Well, for a lot of reasons. Number one, yesterday I debuted a new podcast series. I am calling it the Peter Rosenberg Show with Peter Rosenberg. I thought it was after your own heart, Sam Roberts.
I like that. Just brand your own name. Like Cheap Heat, I don't understand. What? Should be Masked Man and Rosenberg Cheap Heat.
With Masked Man and Rosenberg.
With Masked Man and Rosenberg.
See, this is why I like it, because now with my new podcast, if I do it, I'll go, welcome to the Peter Rosenberg Show with Peter Rosenberg. I'm your host, Peter Rosenberg.
And then
that's 3 times.
And you've killed a minute already, which is nice.
Right. Guys, we have Sam Roberts.
Inside radio baseball. Yeah.
We have Sam Roberts here, and we have the Masked Man and myself, Peter Rosenberg. And I'm excited to talk about Survivor Series.
Yeah, man.
Raw, which I've heard was on television this week. It was my.
I can confirm that. My sources can confirm.
See, that bothers me because it was my wife's birthday, and I kind of assumed they wouldn't run up against my wife's birthday. But they showed no respect for the birthday.
Your wife's Alexa's birthday party falls below the Westminster Dog Show.
I don't understand. So, but we have to talk a lot of major things. Do you want to do anything before we talk about Sting? Or do we dive just...
Let's just go into Sting, man.
First of all, Sam Roberts has a new wrestling podcast.
Believe it or not, called Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast.
You really went creative.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that.
See, we started out as the Grantland Wrestling Podcast.
It's better. You don't need names on shows.
Hold on, guys, and we have an extra special guest who's been clamored for.
What's up, guys?
Laura Stiles is back on Cheap Heat.
Oh, my God. I've missed you guys so much. Hi, Sam.
People have been begging for you to come back.
The thing is that for a minute, I thought you guys were denying me the opportunity to sit in. You know, I'm a big Cheap Heat fan now.
She's a big Yo, every week, she's like, when are you doing Cheap Heat? When are you doing... She goes to one wrestling show, and she's out of control.
I just want to let you guys know that I had the time of my life. It was so much fun.
Now, you did tell me last week that you were very upset that you were not able to attend last week's Raw.
Yeah, because you didn't take me.
Because of the special guest star, Grumpy Cat.
Oh, Grumpy Cat!
I know you really...
I wasn't interested when Nene Leakes was going to be there. I was like, why is she here? Why are you guys promoting
It's a good question.
But Grumpy Cat...
Even on Real Housewives, it's a good question.
Listen, Grumpy Cat is a different story.
Do you want to tell us anything about Sam Roberts and your interactions knowing Sam? Because Laura knows Sam separately from me.
Well, the thing is that I just creep up on Sam at our other job, and I just see him, and I see what he's doing, and I just give him a little wave. I'm like, hey, we have like a thing of mutual respect. We just give each other the nod.
Is that true? You guys have a...
Yeah.
Is it
giving you the nod now?
Do you feel that you give her the nod because you sort of have hair that's Latino at Jay's?
No.
Because your hair is...
Laura Stiles and I do not see ethnicity. And that's something that maybe that's a white thing. I don't know. But we don't even... Maybe that's sort of like underlying and we don't realize we're doing it. But...
No, you guys are beyond that.
But listen, you started giving me the nod before you knew that me and Peter were tight. What was that all about?
I'm very social at work. I'm a social butterfly is what I'm called.
I hope your wife isn't listening to this podcast.
Oh, she knows by now.
Laura, real quick, we have a lot of major stuff to get into.
All right, fine.
But real quick, I do want you to... Is there any old wrestler that you've never mentioned on the podcast before that maybe has popped into your head recently that you want to regale our listeners with? Because our pathetic loser listeners love nothing more than hearing a hot chick just say a wrestler's name.
Let me see. Hold on. Last time I was here, I mentioned we
Tugboat.
talked about Tugboat, Jake the Snake Roberts. We talked about Ultimate Warrior. We talked about what were the twins again? The Bushwhackers.
Yes, of course.
Not actually twins, but they are. Yeah.
Well, in my eyes, they were twins.
Twins of Jace.
Yeah,
So wait.
twins of Jace.
Did you ever watch WCW wrestling? Are you familiar with Sting?
No.
Never heard of Sting.
No.
Oh.
What about the movie The Crow? Have you heard of the movie The Crow?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's a Sting connection there.
Hey, and I told you guys I was really into Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling when I was.
Oh.
Is it Mount Fuji or Mount Fiji? Which one was it?
It was Mount. I always got it wrong. It was Mount Fiji.
Fiji.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to always root for the farmer's daughter. That's all I really remember.
And that's it?
She was cute, yeah.
If Laura Stiles had a character, guys.
What would I be?
Come on, what would you be?
Her name would be Laura Stiles.
No, she's from the West Coast. She's Latin. She wears all black. Her name would be like, what's your real last name again?
Carranza.
Her name would be Chola Carranza. And she would come out with like the...
Would I be like a villain?
Probably, because all Spanish characters
would I be
are.
Undertaker or Jace?
I don't know about... and of course, I do want to get to celebrate Laura while she's here for her having the best line of the night at Raw. You didn't get to hear about this, Sam. We're sitting at Raw.
Oh, right. You said this before.
I said it on the podcast, but she wasn't here. You deserve credit, and Sam will love this. So we're watching Raw, and we had our seats last time were facing away from the screen. So we're looking back at the screen, and Kane's on, and she completely, sincerely, with no knowledge of anything, just looks at Kane and goes, "Who's this guy who's Undertaker at Jace?"
Wow.
And I go, "He is Undertaker at Jace."
Yeah.
That's his entire job.
You saw the family lineage.
And like you nailed. Not only that, like that is the character. They're like, "What?"
That's crazy to see that. Like Kane? Like, wait, wasn't that corporate Kane?
Yeah, it was still. She saw
Wife
it.
beater and slacks Kane?
Yeah.
She saw it.
I saw it.
She
That's
understood.
Incredible.
Yeah. Anyways,
incredible. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun.
at Laura Stiles on Twitter, guys. She loves getting comments from the Cheap Heat
Yes,
fans.
I love you guys. Bye.
Bye. I just want to give the guys. They should have.
Of course.
They should have information.
Yeah, that was great. I'm glad she came back. She's basically the Sting of the Cheap Heat podcast. People have
she
been
just
demanding,
appears.
people in fantasy booking her return to the podcast for months.
And to think her and Sam, and like it sounds like there's some sort of weird relationship there we don't know about. Like this is a storyline.
The whole world that happens in the afternoon over
this
Sirius
is,
XM.
this is the reality era, guys.
No. Okay. So all that being said,
right.
right to Sting. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
We go right to Sting. I'll let you guys talk about your.
Well, I can start off by saying that I was, of course, read all the spoilers. This is when I kind of hate my job the most. I started seeing things where people are just like, "Oh man, there's something's happening. I'm turning off Twitter," or like people were tweeting me like, "Did you see this?" and whatever. I really didn't want to look.
Do you think WWE leaked the spoilers on purpose?
Yes.
Yeah.
You just said WWE the way Vince McMahon says it.
WWE.
He goes WWE. He doesn't even know how to say. He can't say his own.
We can say it quickly like that. WWE. It's
WWE.
like it's not about the W's right now. It's about me getting my statement out there so the mass man can comment. You know.
Well done.
Yeah.
So
And then we just sidetracked for 5 minutes.
we are we are a podcast with Jace.
Yeah, so I knew it was coming. I don't know if it was a deliberate leak, but I definitely saw on Sunday afternoon. I mean, I do think that the leak was deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a separate thing on rumor on Sunday afternoon that Sting was now not going to be involved in the main event in any way. That they were just going to have him come out and do a thing like toward, midway through that would, start his journey to WrestleMania. I don't know if they like took the foot off the gas or whatever to try to like lower expectations, or if that was just a lie, like
Red herring.
Yeah,
That's right.
it was a red herring, regardless. But yeah, I mean, it was. I thought that it was handled really, really well.
Of course you did.
The match, there's a million things you can complain about. I just mean,
I will.
I mean,
I will
his
complain about
placement-
everyone.
His placement there was perfect. I mean, I think that. I wrote about Sting obviously for this week. It should probably be up at the time that people are hearing this, but I've been back and forth on whether or not Sting should be in WWE or should get face. We talked specifically about the Undertaker. I'm kind of happy we're not headed in that direction, but still
Not yet.
But still, it's all. I didn't know what it was going to feel like to see him in WWE.
How did it feel?
It felt great, man. I mean, like he's always been the most. I wrote this week. He's always been the most WWF wrestler in the world, despite the fact that he's never been the WWF.
Well, that's what makes you Shoemaker, because that is a good point. That's what makes you the master.
Yeah, like he fits.
Vince
Yes.
McMahon has.
He's a cartoonish
Vince
type
McMahon
character.
has tried 100 or more times to make Sting and failed. Like, even if he'd never seen Sting, everything that he's created has been an attempt at making Sting.
Right.
And, I mean, just imagine if Sting had been the Ultimate Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if Vince had got his hands on Sting when he got the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, I wrote about this just really briefly because this wasn't, I wasn't just like, doing counterfactuals for my whole column, but it could have been like, he would have succeeded.
Do you think a WWE Sting in 1990, 1991 is the next Hogan, the way the
Yeah.
Warrior was supposed to be?
I think Hogan's done.
Wow.
Or not done, but I think that he successfully displaces Hogan from the main event. He's way better in the ring, way better on the mic, a way better employee.
Mm-hmm.
To take nothing away from the Warrior, but like he could have been that. The weird thing to think about is, does that mean Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart never get a chance?
No,
Yeah.
well, I don't see why not.
I mean, it's not necessarily, obviously, but
And they fit in. Hold on, were we including in that scheme that Undertaker still exists or does not exist?
oh yeah, definitely.
He would still
Well,
exist.
if Undertaker would still exist, I mean, Brett and Shawn totally intermingled with Undertaker nicely. I see
Sure.
no reason, only in terms of it being this like weird, dark, semi-fiction, like impossible
That's
character.
that's true. I just mean like just
terms of
size
enough-
wise.
okay.
Because Brett and Sean were successful at the time, at least, mainly because of the steroid thing and Hogan being off TV. Sting is kind of like, he's small enough that he's not necessarily on steroids, but he's big enough that he could be another Hulk Hogan.
And you can look at pictures of Sting from like the late 80s and say like, oh, he used to be on steroids. Now he's when he was in the Blade Runners or whatever, that he was giant.
But Sting is a guy who would have molded in with it because he can wrestle like a Shawn Michaels or Bret
Oh,
Hart.
it would have been amazing. Don't
Right.
get me wrong, but I just wonder if that would have been enough for Vince to say we don't need to promote, the tag team guys up to the main
that's
event.
true.
But yeah, anyway, so and even when he was Crow Sting, he was like more of the Attitude Era than he was of WCW in that period.
Well, I mean, Sting was also the only long-term successful character that WCW really created, and under the Bischoff regime, at least. He was. I mean, you could say
Bischoff, but you mean Crow Sting?
Crow Sting. Yeah, that was
Yes.
the only thing that Bischoff did besides the NWO that really worked out. Even Goldberg at first was hot, but didn't work out. I wouldn't.
I mean, I think Goldberg is a success, but I think Sting overall, the whole point of this is that he was so successful for so long.
Yeah.
Without ever going, Ric Flair was more NWA, WCW than Sting was, but he had a spell in WWF.
Mm-hmm.
Sting is just the only guy who's never been in WWF, and the most. But despite the fact that he was perfect for them.
Sam, your thoughts on the return of the Icon?
I've never been that excited about a Sting debut in general because
You're an animal because you're not human. You're a communist.
I'm a WWF baby. Like I watched WCW, but I never cared. Like Sting was always
Undertaker or Jace?
no. First of all, stop saying the word.
I can't. Listen.
Second of all,
it's
you
bigger
say it
than
in
you.
social
Oh my
media.
God, Sam's gonna go over so huge right now.
Just
Well,
knock it off.
except for our entire listening audience, that all they do is tweet me a Jace. So don't come down against a Jace, or you will find a sign.
I don't even know what the word means.
Well, if you haven't figured out by now, you're too dumb to be on this podcast.
Adjacent?
Yes, it means like you're the.
You said the Survivor
it means, like,
Series was an adjacent pay-per-view. Adjacent to what?
It was just a poor man's pay per view, but then it.
Is he going to be over now, or are they going to feel sorry for him? At this
I
point?
think he's making some good points.
No, if you can't figure a
Sam
Jace,
Robertson's making sense.
it's an
Doesn't make any
Jace.
sense.
It's an Jace pay per view
To what?
to anything.
Oh.
It was not. That's just unfair.
But it's not unfair. That's accurate. But we'll get there. But hold on. But so you were never excited,
Never
particularly
excited.
about a Sting appearance.
No, because I was never one of the I like the NWO, of course, but I was never a big WCW guy. Nobody from WCW ever got me excited. It was just something else to watch as a kid. I thought,
the Z-Man, Tom Zank, never got you excited.
you know what?
Well, of course he did, 'cause he was in WWF. So he got
That's
excited.
true. Tom Zank had a good run with
He was in the Can-Am Connection. He was very.
that was not Tom Zank.
Yeah, it was.
He was in the Can-Am Connection.
Of course he was. Rick
Yeah,
Martel
you're right.
and Tom
You're
Zank.
right. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, write it down, guys. Everyone on this day and time, Rosenberg scored one on the Masked Man.
So a Jace
true.
missed, man.
No,
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
No,
I
we'll
don't,
get
know.
you
I don't
there.
understand the word.
I can't wait when you actually get forced to say it because you know it's
Spotlight
perfect.
off me for a
I
second.
don't understand what it means.
So
but-
that being said,
But I thought, and I was thinking the same thing that you were. That what's it going to be? What's it going to feel like to
Yeah.
see him in the ring at Survivor Series? I thought it felt great. I thought it was done excellently. I thought it felt like this is the beginning of a journey. This is perfect. Like this is it. And then on Monday, I got a little weirded out and kind of queasy just at Triple H and Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler and everybody talking about Sting storyline wise, because it was making me think we don't talk about Sting on this show. You know what I mean? Like I've just been so conditioned to that's that we don't mention his name.
so as I just stated, I wasn't able. Real quick before I give my little complaints were about it. How did they use Sting
They
on
didn't
Raw?
at all.
They just mentioned him.
Yes.
In the very
You believe it? It was amazing.
In the opening promo, Triple H and Stephanie complained about the way they lost. Stephanie, I think, said that Sting was the man who changed the course of wrestling history forever, which was sort of an interesting way to overstate the fact.
And it made me, yeah.
But then that was pretty much done after that. I think going forward, well, we'll get into that later.
So, here's I was very excited. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a moment. That being said, it suffered from the exact same problem that every quote unquote WWE return now suffers from, which is it's so blatantly what it is.
Yeah.
Like, there's no subtlety or nuance to it at all. It's like, what's going to happen? Okay. Music hits. His picture's flashing on the screen. Then he comes out. Then he meanders to the ring. Then they stare each other down practically to wait for "This Is Awesome" chants. Like, it just didn't... Why? I mean, I just want to see him in the rafters. I want to see him just point the bat. Like, if you're going to make it what he is,
Yeah, but you know
let
what?
him be what he is.
If he was pointing with a bat, Triple H just looks up. He goes, I don't know what he's pointing at. We have no history together, so he probably has no problem with me. Just continue on. Count to 3.
Well, no, then the lights get killed, and he ends up in the ring or something. I don't know. Listen, guys, I'm not a scientist. Okay, I'm just simply a wrestling fan.
Wait, what am I? You're not a scientist. What are all these Bunsons
Hold on,
doing
everyone,
here?
stop. Show update. I've retired as a scientist. No, I just. Do you know what I'm saying though? In terms of being overdone, like it's the same thing. It was almost to a degree like when Batista came back to TV. In this sense, it has been hyped. In a different sense, not their regular machine, but the Sting return has been hyped.
Oh yeah,
in its own way. He appears at everything. It's like, we're going to get it. And then we get it, and it's just like, it's the Sting return. Can you feel it? It's Sting. Here it is. He's here. It's like, just let the moment be a moment.
Yeah,
it felt forced to me, even though I still enjoyed it.
Do you need it to continue to be teased?
No.
Like, hasn't it kind of, ever since his face popped up on the video game commercial, that's him in the rafters. That's the beginning of this tease. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. Okay, it's here now. And it's like, it's not like now that it's here, we don't start this build to, okay, no, it's going to be
Okay,
here.
then fine. Then start off where it goes black and he's in the ring.
You just wanted the lights out.
I wanted lights out.
You were mad at the entrance.
I thought.
I don't like his face flashing on the screen.
But you
they
understand-
cut the camera pan back, and before we physically see him, you see the Trinitron with his thing flashing on it.
Trinitron?
What is it? You know what it's called?
The Titantron.
Titantron. Trinitron.
What about Jericho's debut? It says the word Jericho, and then, yep, we thought it was him. It is him. Everybody goes
No,
nuts,
but the
and it
Jericho
adds to it.
return. The Jericho return. Of course, that comes with like 20 seconds of darkness, then a lit up jacket, or before when it was the one from 2007. It was the whole time code thing. Like there was a thing to it. I don't think I'm the only person out there who felt this way.
I
that
put
it
a
was-
GIF in my column of Sting standing in front of the Titantron with his face flashing, and
Trinitron.
it's the coolest image. So I mean, I think they're. I understand what
Yeah,
you're
but I
saying.
don't live in GIFs. I watched the entire moment, and in the entire
You know
moment,
what? I went back and watched
We're
it.
in. It's basically
it's a GIF era.
Thanksgiving's on Thursday. It's a season of gifting, right?
It's true.
When you see
Wow,
him,
that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
and they pan out, and he's got kind of it's very empty because it's not a whole bunch. It's just kind of a spotlight, and then his face in the background. It does look cool.
All right,
And
I'm
he's
watching
not-
again.
He's not coming down from the ceiling. It's not happening.
It's never going to happen. People
That's
just need to get
over.
that out of their heads. It's so silly.
Do you know what happened? Somebody died from that.
Yeah, but that's
So it's
because
not gonna
but I
happen
can tell
again.
you the reasoning behind that happening. But that doesn't ever have to happen again. But I understand they won't do it because
So you want him to walk down from the rafters? That'd take forever.
no, I would want him to come down on some sort of contraption. Just pay for the high quality harness and
Look,
connectors, and he'll be fine.
They had those. That wasn't the problem.
Go read if you read in detail. They cheaped. I don't know what the word I want to use is. What's the word I want to use for this?
I don't know, Alex Jones. What is it?
They went super cheap. It's not a conspiracy. It's. I mean,
It's
unless
the
you write
same
off.
guys that did Sting.
Unless you write off Martha Hart's book, which I know some people do.
Look.
but it was not the same thing they normally
Not
did.
coming down from the ceiling.
Okay.
So if his face is in his Titantron, it's okay. It's all right.
I just think you guys are just giving us the complete. Everything about this is the corporate WWE
apologist.
explanation of why it's good. It is, and I'm not saying I know that I'm the annoying fan who hates on everything, and I'm happy you finally give us Sting.
Wait,
But did you hear? If you go on YouTube, you can watch videos that people took in the crowd of the entrance, and you can clearly hear there's something to the initial pop that he gets before he comes out. When the face just pops up on the screen, you go, "Oh my God, it really is him!" And then he comes out, and you're like, "Oh my God, it really, really, really is."
Well,
him."
you know that I'm going to give it a fair shot, like with my volume louder, like fully. I was at home. My wife was in the other room. I didn't. Maybe I'll give it another shot.
Can I ask you two questions?
Yes.
Just to gauge where you are. Sam, you can answer these two.
Yes,
One,
thank you.
were you mad that he didn't use his traditional entrance music? Because
Tell you something?
Because
Sam
a lot
didn't
of people
know.
were.
Sam had no idea.
Yes,
You were mad.
I've been humming do 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 ever since then, and they used it in the video game commercials.
Yeah,
so it's
they
been
did.
familiarized. Yeah, I think that's just like the character. Like that music is the only, and the NWO music is the only original music WCW ever did. Well.
Why? So why would they not?
I don't know.
It was.
It wasn't great music.
You didn't like it.
It wasn't great music.
I don't entrance music just it's really weird because I am sort of a musical person, but it doesn't affect me at all. People complain the way that people complain about entrance music is like beyond me.
Wow. Entrance music to me is so
No, and that's and
huge.
From my childhood, entrance music is more important than the wrestling almost. But like now, I get it when you say like Eric Rowan has the worst song ever, or like when
Bray is his character is 10 times better because
of his entrance
music's
music.
amazing.
No.
Yeah.
I understand that it makes a difference, but this like but the it's like people didn't really have an opinion about the new entrance music. They just wanted it to be the old entrance.
Of course. Well, listen, everything about what we want from Sting is wanting something nostalgic.
Yes. No,
That's the thing.
and it was an odd decision, but I can't say that it made me upset even
What's
a
the
little
other?
bit.
And you had two
Question
questions.
number 2: Were you? Did you complain in real time or in your head or since then that? Or ask why Triple H didn't insist the ref count to 3 during the 5 minutes that Sting was walking to the ring?
No, he had to stare. What are you talking about?
I did when I was showing it to my buddy at work when we were rewatching. I was like, yeah, you got to see Sting's thing. And I pulled it up. And then I said, I mean, in hindsight, Triple H is probably just real quick, tap the mat one more time. Like, let this guy make his entrance, but count to 3.
Yeah. Again, this doesn't bother me at all because it's like you've suspended so much disbelief up to this point for the past 30 years of your life. Like,
Why this moment?
But what I had more of a problem with than that moment, it was the next moment. I didn't like, and Dolph Ziggler, this is the one thing I don't like about Dolph Ziggler, is that
his ramen noodle looking hair.
No, I don't mind it.
Okay.
But
I love ramen noodles and I love Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, but I didn't like.
Hold on, ramen noodles. Is it on the list of things you actually eat?
No, I don't need any noodles.
Okay, continue.
Ziggler is unconscious for all these minutes, right?
It was
minutes upon minutes.
I mean, forever.
And then right after he gets the 3 count, he's rolling around again and ready to get up. It's the same reason I don't like his kickouts. Because the near kickouts, the 2.5 is never just a quick shoulder up. It's like, let me roll my body 4 times across the mat. It's like if you had that much energy, you should have kicked out at 1.
Exactly.
That's not energy. That's reacting to
the situation.
Yeah.
Real quick, what was it that had Dolph completely out of it? What move put him in that place?
I don't remember.
He was pedigreed, wasn't he?
Yes,
it's the pedigree. And the pedigree is bad. It's believable to keep you down for a little while.
I need to say a couple things. One, the ramen noodle joke was my friend Danny's wife Kathleen's joke, and I tweeted it and took credit for it. So sorry, Kathleen.
You're never supposed to give that up. What are you in radio?
It's guilt, though.
Let me and Sam teach you something a little bit about radio.
Yeah, never.
We steal. Everything is stolen.
Yeah.
It's like wrestling. Everything is stolen. You don't have to give credit.
Yeah.
No credit.
There's a dead dude in the river named Peter Rosenberg whose
gone.
identity you stole. But the other thing was that not only were they out, were Rollins and Ziggler out for an ungodly amount of time. Stephanie was lying prone on the outside of the ring for like 15 minutes, and this is
after someone bumped into her.
Yeah, after she got knocked off the apron. The crazy thing, I mean, to me, when I saw her like rousing and I realized she had been down the whole time, that was pretty impressive, man. I don't care how many times you've done this, lying outside of the ring must be and having to play dead must be kind of scary for that length of time, because who knows what fans are going to like throw things at you, or
it's something I haven't really talked about that much. It's a good thing for an interview to bring up, is that feeling of laying there when they're playing dead for a long time is weird.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you doze off? I mean, in real life, wouldn't you like?
I wonder, and I really do wonder, right? Like on a regular mundane house show, that they're not, it's just work. It's just work. It's not a big thing. If they're totally beat, and you know that for 10 minutes at the end of the match, you're literally, I wonder if anyone's ever like, I'm going to snooze for 5 minutes.
Right.
Or like they're in and out of it. They're like, oh, I'll come to it. Like, because they're used to this. It is pretty funny.
I got to tell you, as much as I would probably snap in half if I even took a backdrop, like it in my head, it's more.
I would pay so much money to see you take a backdrop. There's no amount of money
we can make
pay.
that happen.
Oh.
But in my head, it seems more like physically just like traumatizing to have to lay still for 15 minutes with people watching me.
It's pretty awkward.
Yeah,
just out of sheer awkwardness.
Like, and you'd be like, every time you thought about it, your leg would twitch, and you'd be like, "Crap, I just messed it up." You know, like
it's meditation. You just have to go someplace else.
No,
yeah, you're not there.
Like you're there, you just can't. You got to keep your eyes shut, keep your forearm over your face, and just go someplace else.
There's a waterfall behind me.
So can we ask the question? And I don't, Sam, don't get upset here, but I think we should ask the question using language that we do use on this show quite a bit, for people to tweet us, all of us, and hashtag with Sting. Do you think the Sting moment was Mage or Major J's?
That's no, because no one
That's
can
a
spell
re-
any. That's going to be the most misspelled hashtag in the history of Twitter.
How about this? Hashtag Sting good or hashtag Sting bad.
I
has
like
no,
that.
that does
That's
not have no.
great.
So let me get you something. You corporate hacks. You don't have any of our own language that makes this show a thing.
I don't know. Hour. I've never heard this man say those words. And when you type it on Twitter, it looks like Madge.
Not that I need him to defend me. It does look like Madge.
It does look like Madge, but it is MAJ. You're right about that. It has to be MAJ.
I mean, I get it.
Fine. I'll make it easier. Hashtag Major, MAJOUR,
That's not how you spell major.
or
It's not like
major
force
J's.
majeure. It's not just a misspelling. MAJEU.
I spell it on my phone. My phone knows how to spell it now. It auto corrects. I'm not kidding.
Your phone must hate you.
Capital MAJ, lowercase OUR.
Speaking of phones learning stuff, I was texting my buddy the word network the other day. You'd think my phone, because I talk about the WWE network, would know it. It auto-corrected the word network to NWO space work.
That's too sweet.
Yeah. That is the...
Really?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
that's good.
I cannot believe, Shoemaker, how big a dork you are.
Yeah, I
that
know,
you were
right?
talking about the network. First of course he was texting someone about the network, but that it went to NWO work is it's like amazing on so many levels.
Yeah.
Wow, what a phone that is. You should sell that phone on eBay.
I could.
No, you want Dave Shoemaker's autocorrects?
Programmed with all of the most inane autocorrect. You normal people could not use my phone to send text messages.
Well, it would all be like when you write FA, does it auto fill in fabulous moolah every single time, no matter what you're trying to say?
No, it's the fabulous ones. Actually.
yeah, exactly.
The Fantastics, I think, are the ones.
So what else do you think was the most pressing and interesting things about Survivor
Not
Series?
pressing, but we have new tag team champions,
Oh man,
the Miz and Mizdow.
we do, and that
They
is
had
a
a nice,
cool
they had a nice kind of encore last night, where Sandow basically wrestled the entire match because Miz got hurt, and then Miz came in and hit the big finish. But they officially have given Sandow now 2 replica belts, like tiny kids replica belts. So Miz has both tag team titles. Sandow has the little silly ones. And now they end every match with standing in opposite corners, like they ended Sunday night with Miz putting his hands up.
That's amazing.
Crowd boos. Sandow puts his hands up. Crowd cheers.
I got to tell you, it's arguably the best thing going
Yes.
in the WWE right now. I
It's
think
in
it's
the
the most
conversation.
creative. I think it's the most creative, funniest. It's actually unique. Like, I actually sit there and find it entertaining. And I loved when we were at the show. I didn't realize how much I liked it until I was at the show.
So
and
good.
watching the detail
You know
that
what they need to
Sandow
do?
puts into
I think
it.
that was one of the first times that
It wa-
Sandow started going move for move.
Yeah.
And selling
100%.
on the
They-
outside of the
They
ring.
think
really
you're right.
need to start doing picture-in-picture for Sandow.
This guy's good.
Yeah.
100%.
How long before they have to split them up?
That's the problem, because there's almost no payoff to this, to the inevitable split up that's going to be nearly as fun as them being
No.
together.
No, not as fun, but I will say it's very interesting because Miz, I mean, he's Sam Roberts' favorite wrestler, but a lot of other people may not love the Miz. But when this is done, Sandow's going to fully be elevated, at
Yeah.
least a full level up from where he was. There's no question.
How
right?
much do you want to see Miz and Mizdow fight over the Miz gimmick?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Like that Mizdow insists that he's still Mizdow.
Right. He's not taking Sandow again.
And like he beats the Miz and gets to be the Miz.
yo,
And the Miz is now lost without an identity.
guys. did we
Oh,
just-
I like this.
All right.
You know?
Fantasy booking corner of the week.
We are doing some good stuff over here right now. But I think that would be. I think it's super fun, and I love that It is. Thank you.
Did I do it right?
Yeah, you did.
It's not a Jace. It's the most mage thing happening. I really do. Shout out to Damian Sandow because he's one of those guys who's super talented, but like a lot of other people who have come and gone, and they were Vince McMahon's top draft pick, and all these, and nothing ever happens. And he's at the same level as a lot of those guys, except we now know he's actually really funny and does these other things.
I think that it's important to point out now. I hate to be the scold.
I know what you're going to say. Well,
And he was doing
I hated it.
dress-up comedy acts
wasn't into
for
it.
9 months. You don't have to be into it, but don't say he was being buried. He was what he was.
Oh,
doing,
I didn't think he was being buried.
what
I
he
just didn't like it.
A lot of people did. First of all, he was on Raw every
No,
week.
he had a major scene with
Yeah.
the guest star every week.
But what he was doing is the only reason this is happening.
You're right.
And by the way, the same people were saying he was getting buried when he first started the Mizdow gimmick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Well, you know what? Maybe he was when he first started the Mizdow gimmick. We don't even know. Do you think they know it would have gone?
No,
it would have
that was-
this
it
way?
was a 1 week
This is
thing.
all him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He's just doing it and it works, and they're like, "Yeah, let's keep going."
That's awesome.
You have the ability to do that, like when you're outside the main event, like things that get over they can work with it. But
So will we finally see the Usos slide from the TV time they've been getting for, like, let's be honest, 8-9 months. This has been a hell of a run for the Usos.
I mean, there still aren't that many. There's 4 tag teams total, and they were all in that one match. So the Usos still have a pretty nice spot.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're still going to end up seeing them at least once a week.
NXT's next pseudo pay-per-view thing is in 1 week, 2 weeks. It's soon. And there's a huge tag team match on there with 2 teams that could be called up at the drop of a hat. So it's kind of, it remains to be seen what shape what the WWE tag division is going to look like in a month, 2 months.
I'm going to reverse the question we just did for Sting and see if how you guys feel about this. I obviously thought that the most fantastic thing to happen, of course, was Nikki Bella finally getting her due and winning that title. I really thought.
I'm glad that Nikki has eliminated some of your sadness over Mark Henry's treatment.
Oh, we'll get to that later. Yeah, that's not good. But
Fine.
no, it's not fine, Sam.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not fine. It's not fine. No, it's fine. I mean, listen, he's had some good moments. He'll have another one again, but I don't cry when he doesn't have a spot. That's big. But I am really happy for Nikki, and I think that
I'm too. I think it was a lot of fun.
I thought it was well done.
Aside from Sting, it was my favorite thing on the show.
Really?
I loved it.
Me too.
Loved the whole thing.
And did you? I'm stupid. I hadn't thought about the Kiss Daniel Bryan AJ thing in so long, right?
Neither.
It was like, oh, she's getting back at her.
You should have seen me and my buddy Danny piecing this together in real time, because at first I was just like, why did they just use the WrestleMania 28 finish? Like, that was really weird.
Because she's
we were
married to him now.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that was like 3 steps away. We were like, wait, does it work? Because he's the kiss. It was AJ kissing him, and then it was her fault, and now it's. And we were like putting it together, and finally it was like, oh yeah, and they're all married. I mean, and it's Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Everybody's been so wrapped up in chanting CM Punk when AJ comes out, we all forgot about her storyline relationships. That have been going
exactly.
on. Like, we forgot that she had a whole Daniel Bryan thing for a year.
And CM Punk isn't a thing on TV.
Right.
Daniel Bryan was, and I thought it was. I got to give credit where credit is due. They outsmarted smart wrestling fans. That was a really good spot.
And they
Nikki
didn't
Bella.
I mean, who
She's
knows
awesome.
what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen in the weeks to come? But they didn't dwell on it. It was just a really nice wink.
Yeah.
That like wrestling fans that don't know anything except what they see on TV got it. Like, it was like that match. They screwed her like whatever. And then wrestling fans that know all the details thought it was hilarious. I mean, thought it was so deep. So,
What did the Bellas do on Monday?
Brie wrestled.
Oh.
Brie, who is fully evil. There is no like.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
There doesn't seem to be any shades of gray there, although there's still plenty of time. But Brie wrestled AJ and won with.
How was
Nikki's
she
help.
fully evil?
Well, after the match, as they walked away, AJ cut a promo on both of them. It was like, you two will never be half the woman that I am, and just talking lots of smack.
Because I was going to say,
she's like, wrestling ability is not a sexually transmitted disease. So that was her like greatest line.
whoa.
Yeah, it was good.
You see, do you think there's real heat with stuff like that? I can't imagine that's like, because you're saying, not only are you saying wrestling ability, which is something which is like kind of can be taken as out of bounds to say on TV.
Yeah.
But you're also calling them a slut simultaneously.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
a lot.
I think maybe there might be some real heat lines snuck into commentary, but when you have like one line like that on a mic and that's your spot, I don't think anybody's, especially like AJ, is taking liberties like that.
I'm not saying
say
taking
something.
liberties. I'm not saying that it wasn't written for her. But even if
like-
they know.
Like Macho Hogan written for her.
Yeah.
Like we know what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I bet there. I mean, yeah, I bet there's.
It doesn't mean that-
something real.
And there has to be, because couple times when I talked to the Bellas, they clearly are not big fans of AJ. That like no one. I don't think anyone
Yeah, but
on
that's could
Total
be- I mean, but
Divas
that's
is a super big fan of AJ.
Could be working you though.
They could be. That's a long-term work for the Divas.
And also,
it's a
yeah.
long-term subtle work for the Divas division. But you're right. It's possible.
And also, it's not. I mean, just because they were that, like, I mean, it's been a while since he talked to him.
Maybe
their feelings could have advanced.
Oh yeah, I'm sure now.
When you talk to him, AJ was in a particularly weird spot of like not showing up for a lot, but still like
True.
getting big pops and like.
Women in that situation are forced against each other. It is the nature of entertainment.
Well, men too, though.
Yeah, men too, but it's even worse because men have 100 people to compete with. The women it's
have
10.
a dozen,
And
yeah.
it's all based on these physical things. There's all these things at work that I'm not blaming the girls for
Sure,
it.
sure.
But there's all these things at work that make the Divas division like there's so little time to get in that ring and be on TV.
Except on Sunday night, where there were 2 full matches.
I know, which
One-
was pretty cool. And the Survivor Series match wasn't that short.
No, it was
No,
long.
really long.
I predicted it was going to be, you're like, way too long, actually.
It was actually really long.
We predicted, I thought there'd be a moment when like 3 were eliminated within 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And that didn't really happen.
No, it didn't.
By the way, if you
Long.
want to see the most adjacent match in Survivor Series history,
I don't understand what it means.
you have to when you hear me finish. If you want to see the most...
This is a sort of a Jace usage of a Jace. by
No,
the
it's
way.
not. You don't get to tell me!
What's it adjacent to?
The most... It's adjacent to a real Survivor Series match.
Okay.
Yeah, does that make sense now?
Not really.
The girls... The ladies Survivor Series match from 1987.
1987.
Yes.
That was Moolah versus
Or 88. It was the Moolah team versus the...
87. Was that
Uh,
who was it?
I looked it up the other day. The picture of the Motley Crew.
It was
I'm going to read the names, and I want to know how many Dave Shoemaker's heard of.
all right.
Because they did
I'll look it
one-
up while we talk about
They
the
do
names.
one in
Jumping Bomb Angels in there?
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't they do one in '94 with Alundra Blaze and
Yeah.
Bull Nakano?
Yes.
Yeah, that was not a Jace. 'cause
That
it
was real?
It was
Good.
a great match.
It was good, so not a Jace.
The Mage.
There you go.
Mage.
There you go.
I don't know if I think it was that good. I'm just saying it was
No
good.
one's listening. No one's listening to this podcast
That's
anymore. We have Sam Roberts on to talk about Sting, and we're just going
I
into
think
like.
I gotta be
bad
honest.
semantics.
I actually really like the conversation we're getting here. But yeah, so we had talked about Nikki's match. We've talked about
the one thing about that Divas match, and actually it was not. I thought it was pretty good. I wish there were more Divas that I cared about in the match in storyline terms. But one great little sidebar was Tyson Kidd taking selfies and tweeting them throughout the match.
So great.
It was really, really funny.
My team's doing well.
Yeah, and then at the end there was a great picture, which maybe I just wasn't paying attention when it happened in real time. But I saw a picture online of him like the Divas team was celebrating in the ring as they won, like holding each other's hands, and Tyson Kidd was like in front of them on the second rope with his hands up in the air.
Yeah, I like that they're giving Tyson Kidd a little character. By the way,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
so-
it's so great. It's such a natural heel move to wear headphones. They pointed
yeah.
this out
Why?
next-
Again, little things you don't. Anyways,
Yeah.
the Fabulous Moolah, Rockin' Robin.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell us when you don't know someone.
I mean, I've heard the names. No, I know Rockin' Robin.
And obviously Moolah. Velvet McIntyre.
Right?
It was Velvet Sky and Drew McIntyre all mixed into one.
Velvet McIntyre, I think, was on Glow.
And the Jumping Bomb Angels,
Yeah.
which is comprised of.
I don't know. The
Damn, Shoemaker, you have a book out. He has
Angel 1 and Angel 2?
No, that would be Itsuki Yamazaki and Norio Tateno. They defeated Sensational Sherry, the greatest to ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
The Glamour Girls, which is, you'll know one,
The Glamour Girls.
Lilani Kai and Judy Martin,
Oh, yeah, of course. I
With-
didn't realize they had a name.
with also Donna Cristianello. Do you remember her fine work?
I can honestly say no.
And this is really fun. I never did this. And Dawn Marie.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. Did you see why that would be
Donna
an adjacent match?
Cristianello?
Yeah,
Click on her.
I am.
I'm going to guess right now that she's like married to the Fink.
I love. By the way, one of the best things about Shoemaker is I sincerely feel that when he hears a name like that he doesn't know,
I'm going to spend
he's gonna get very excited because let's see what the story is about this person. Her name, Donna Cristianello. She was born in 1942. She's 69 years old. She also went by. They have 5 different spellings of Donna Cristianello and Princess White Cloud. Her professional wrestling career, NWA. She was employed at a restaurant in Pittsburgh when she decided to talk to blah, 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 promoter Waldo Von Erich, Klondike Bill.
Oh, wow.
Set her up with women's trainer, the Fabulous Moolah. She moved to South Carolina in 1963 to train with Moolah in 69. She competed during an Australian tour with Tony Rose, Jessica Rogers, Betty, Rita Boucher, Ramona Isbell, Marva Scott. Okay. Frequent tag team partner of Tony Rose. She and Rose won the NWA Women's World Tag Championship in 1970. In 1972, she competed at the Super Bowl of Wrestling, where she and Rose defended the world. Do you even know what that is? This is kind of deep. By the way, feel free to click on the Super Bowl of Wrestling. What is that?
WrestleMania?
The Super Bowl of Wrestling was an
Year?
event held in the
72?
1970s. It was one of the first professional wrestling supercards.
Oh, okay. I hope.
It's just embarrassing, Shoemaker, because
I
you
can't believe you didn't know that stuff.
like that's the thing. Like you have a book. The Squared Circle: Life and Death of Professional Wrestling, available right now in hardcover at Jace, and yet you don't even Don't
I'm
even
sure
know
I'm
these
sure-
things.
It's probably in the book. I just forgot. I've
You
learned
wrote
more.
so much.
Yeah.
You've written so much. All right, what else? What else from Survivor Series, guys?
What about the? What about the?
Really?
Yeah. What about the Bray Wyatt Dean Ambrose?
Oh, talk about Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose.
Well,
You are a professional broadcaster.
It was a 10 minutes of like a really cool match that became a really kind of cool commercial for next month's pay-per-view, but there's not much you can say about it.
yeah. Although, where are you at with the amount of not quite clean finishes that Dean Ambrose is a part of?
Well, he's crazy. Why would he care about the way a match finishes?
It just seems like every
He's
match
unstable.
Every match seems like just a preview for the next thing.
I that's what this whole thing's been, though.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
What?
That he didn't finish his last thing.
That's what I mean.
It was just a preview for the next thing.
But that's what I
And
mean.
then what's the next thing?
Right, exactly.
It never finishes.
So every pay-per-view match
And
is just a preview for the next
And
one.
for me,
Well-
it keeps me one notch less interested in Dean Ambrose than I should be.
Yeah, I think it was a larger. I mean, obviously they thought they were going to have more eyeballs than they normally did on the pay-per-view. It's a big pay-per-view and it was free. So I mean, I assume there were a lot of people watching. At some point, they made the decision.
By the way, a free pay-per-view is an amazing concept when you think about it.
Free per-view,
And it's just called TV. It's just,
but it's not TV.
it's not even TV, but it's not even. It's called the internet. It's just the internet.
Yeah.
They had a web show. This was a webcast.
At some point, they made the decision that this was not going to be like really focusing on all of the great things that WWE has going on now. This wasn't like check out our awesome product. It was Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt hype up next month's pay-per-view. It was the Divas hyping up Total Divas season 3 for half the show, and then it was Sting and Triple H basically hyping up their match at WrestleMania, which I'm only guessing, but
Yeah.
I think we're just going to be slow burning all the way till then.
Is that already the thought?
I would think so.
And there was an interview with Roman Reigns,
Right, for next month.
like semi-main event Roman Reigns interview. That was
Do
a
you
very old like NWA sort of thing too.
Do you think, I mean, they spent a lot of time on the pay-per-view talking to people who had never watched a WWE pay-per-view before. Do you think there were actual numbers of people that were watching?
You mean that, like they were metaphorically talking to them?
That's- yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like the play-by-play guys were sitting there going, if this is your first time seeing a pay-per-view, you think there was anybody watching that was a first-time WWE pay-per-view watcher?
I mean, there was
You know
somebody
what?
in my living room who was a.
Well, no, but even besides that, I think we have to be realistic about the fact that wrestling has always been, you would know this better than we would, but more of the details, but wrestling has always been a thing that appeals to a wide range of people, many of which are very working class and don't have a ton of extra income to throw at wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
I would guess that there are a few people out there who literally watch nearly everything on free TV and don't do the
But
pay-per-views.
I was really surprised by the number of people who I saw saying that online, to be honest.
Really?
who were like, I don't normally watch pay-per-views, but this is good.
Or like I just signed up for this month because it was free and it was no obligation.
Oh,
And-
interesting.
And now I'm absolutely staying on till WrestleMania or whatever.
Yeah, I think
That's
probably
great.
more
Yeah,
than we would guess. I think it's still in the thousands. I don't think we're talking
I think
about
that-
hundreds of thousands,
Yeah.
but I think there's
I mean, listen, Sting in a lot of ways and leaking the Sting appearance was the brilliant move because the fans that they need to be attracting. I mean, I think that we're talking about two different groups of people. The people that don't have a ton of money that hadn't been shelling out for the network so far. Hopefully, this got them in. I think what the Sting thing really did was, or what it was an attempt to do, was appeal to the people we always talk about, the Monday Night Wars fans that have drifted away from pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, having Sting back in the ring is that's a direct call to everybody who's watching a really terrible Monday Night Football game. Actually, it was a good Monday Night Football game that my Cowboys won.
despite being part of history.
The Odell Beckham catch.
But you know what's nice about that? You'll always get to see that highlight and be like, but we won the game.
Yeah.
It's when, when everyone talks about Jordan scoring 63 on the Celtics. And I'm like, the Celtics won the series. We won. It's okay. It was
Yeah. And by the way, I'm a little bit over the hype for that catch.
it's a
It was like when
gotta
it
tell you
happened
what.
and people were like, best catch ever. And then people were like, now look at him doing it in warm-ups over and over again. How much, like, that doesn't make it more awesome. It's still awesome. No one I know, that he's the only human in the world that can do that.
David Tyree wrote a book about his catch.
Yeah.
I think this guy can have Odell
that's
Beckham
fine.
Jr. can have his moment
That's
in the
fine.
sun.
Yeah, let's think about it. I mean, the Tyree.
I mean,
I hate to say it. It's an Jace catch next to this catch.
It is.
The Tyree catch.
It's a Jace.
It's a Jace to that catch.
Yes.
That catch was. I mean, this is how big the catch was. I was watching Survivor Series, obviously, not the
Did
stupid.
you get tweets to turn the channel?
No, my brother sent me the first GIF.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is there a GIF of a play? And this is the game that's on right now. So I go in the other room and I'm like, Alexa, I think something crazy just happened. And as I walk in, I hear Chris Collinsworth say the words, "The greatest catch of all time."
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to go see what this is about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the greatest catch of all time. I know that it was insanity.
Oh no, it was. I mean, that was very well could have been the greatest catch of all time. But it was clear. But like, it's a thing that he does.
But that's the thing. The most exciting thing about it, the reason this guy is going to be so rich. By the way, football in terms of storylines, the Odell Beckham storyline, he became a star in 1 second.
I tweeted like 2 weeks ago, somebody's got to push this guy to the moon.
By the way, I didn't even know you were interested in football ever.
This season
What is going? Hold on.
started.
No.
Brand new.
Hold on, Sam. I've known you now for
Wait,
7 years.
who's your team?
Giants.
What a
You
terrible
picked
way
them?
to start your Giants
Terrible.
fandom.
Picked the Giants beginning of this season.
Hold on, Sam.
Yeah.
Please, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, wrestling fans. I think everyone will find this interesting. Sam Roberts. I've known him for 7 years. We've never talked about sports. Not
Because
for
I've
a
never
minute,
watched
because you've
them.
never watched. If I accidentally bring it up, I look at the blank stare in his eyes. I'm like, forget it. Back to wrestling.
Yeah, I'm just like waiting for these words to
Finish-
stop.
exactly.
Like,
So
let
what
me get this
happened
out.
that made you decide at 35?
31, thank you.
31
I
years
know,
old.
I don't look it.
Sorry, I wanted to make you my age. What at 31 made you decide this is the year? How bad is WWE product and you're not admitting it that you decided to start liking football?
Well, this was the thing. This is when I was watching Survivor Series. And I'm really glad that it turned
You've
out.
only been into football for 4 days.
No.
Okay, sorry.
This season.
Right, but you said when I was watching Survivor Series.
I was watching Survivor Series, and I was sitting there, and I was really glad that it ended well, because halfway through the pay-per-view, I was like, oh my God, like maybe I'm growing up, maybe I'm changing as a man, because there are moments in my head where I'm like, I kind of want to switch
checking on
over
the game.
and watch a little bit of the Giants game, and I'm like, what is happening?
How did it happen? Though? I'm really curious. You don't hear about this very often.
No, you don't.
At your age, usually it's like I'm not a sports guy,
Right.
And I'm for life. I'm
Maybe
not
we
a
can
sports
draw
guy.
some lessons as to how to get people into wrestling at this age.
Yeah, that's what I'm
too.
saying. There's an interesting thing here. Nice crossover, like how bringing it back to the podcast full circle.
So
But
here's what happened. My wife,
the beautiful Jess,
Yes.
who's ruined my. I wear headphones every night because of her now. Yes,
why do you wear headphones every night? Because of her?
because I told my wife
They
that
got a
she
lot of
makes
weight.
you wear headphones.
Right. Remember that
And my
story.
wife now I wear headphones.
Gotcha. Okay.
So thank you, Jess.
So she started watching Friday Night Lights on Netflix.
This is a very girly way to get into football, but go ahead.
But this is my truth.
Okay, it's your truth. Live your truth,
And
Sam.
this is my journey.
Live your journey.
Friday Night Lights is like one of the greatest shows ever.
I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with Friday Night Lights.
And by the
but
way-
as a way to get into football, it's ridiculous.
And we gave up on the later seasons, so we just watched the good ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
You should finish it, but it sounds okay.
Jess said, I never knew I liked football. And I said, Jess, you don't like football. These are dramatic shows. You like football on Friday Night Lights. It's not like watching a game. And she goes, yeah, but I think we should watch football this season. I want to get behind a team.
This is the best.
And I go, you do? She goes, yep. I go, okay. And so as soon as the NFL season started, I turned on. I was like, all right, we're going to start watching football on Sundays. And I said, but you got to pick a team. And she was like, I think I want to pick the Cowboys because Friday Night Lights. And I was like, you can't be from New York and just decide to start watching football and pick the Cowboys.
Believe me,
That's
lots
like-
of other people have done that.
I know.
That's like
Millions.
so bandwagon.
It's terrible.
jumper,
Yeah, no,
front runner.
it's tough.
And you guys are real New Yorkers.
And we're New Yorkers, and I go, and we're not Mets people. We're not. So I go, Giants are going to be our team, and I watch them lose, and I watch them lose, and I watch them lose. But I started watching, like I started saying, okay, I'm legit going to start watching these games, and I was like, okay, I'm getting sucked into this. I care. Like I
Why-
found
but
myself quickly caring.
But why? Why do you care?
No, I didn't think I ever would.
This is what
I think the lesson is if you watch anything week after week for like
you care.
Start to care.
Oh, yeah.
And I started sitting there and I realized how awful it is. And I guess it's the same thing with internet wrestling fans, but how awful it is to be a football player. Because second game of the NFL that I watched that wasn't a Super Bowl, I'm sitting there yelling, "What are you doing? Do you know how to catch anything?" And I'm telling these guys who have been playing this game
You've been watching for
forever,
2 weeks.
Two
Yeah.
games I've watched. And I'm like, these guys have no clue what
I
they're
am.
doing.
I have to say, I am excited about this.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
You've added something else to your repertoire.
I'm a
And before-
Giants fan.
You're a dude. That you know what that means for you, Sam?
What?
You could be eating chicken soon.
I eat chicken,
You could
dude.
be
That's
eating.
all I eat.
You could. I got it backwards. You could be eating.
broccoli.
Eat hamburgers, right?
No, dude.
You could be eating hamburgers
That's
soon.
extreme, but I mean, who knows? I would have said the same thing about football, right?
Riggs, that's what I'm saying. You could be a hamburger eater.
Yeah.
You could be anything. You could be
All
a
we
drug
need is a
addict.
really good high school drama about eating hamburgers, and he's there.
That's right.
What about that? What about Bob's Burgers? Have you considered watching Bob's Burgers?
Cartoons.
Oh, you don't know that. You could be a cartoon guy.
It's true. But so, like, beginning of the season, I was like, and then somebody on the air, thank God, weeks ago, was like, okay, well, who do you like on the Giants? And I was like, I like Odell Beckham Jr.
Wow, good for you.
Because I was watching him.
Well, he's a rookie too. He's like he came along. He started at
guys
the
are the
same time you
same.
Yeah,
did.
but you know what? He could have been playing for 15 years. I have no
wouldn't
clue.
know.
I wouldn't know.
But that's maybe that's what you saw in him. You could tell there was some of that fresh face.
That rookie fire.
Yeah.
I texted Victor Cruz during the game. I did not get a response.
No.
I wonder if Victor was
Do
just
we
staring
still
at the
have
TV
the
like,
bell where you put yourself over? We got.
I'm sorry. That's not even a real name drop. In the New York world, Victor's around.
I don't know.
He's a
Victor.
regular
I don't know
guy.
Victor Cruz.
He doesn't come to Sirius Satellite Radio, but he's up here all the time. He's sat in these very seats many times. Yeah, he's around all the time. He's like super community dude.
Serious. It's like a 10-minute.
Now that you're a Giants fan,
tell him
I
there's
have
a
a
big
reason.
Giants fan over at
a
Sirius
really
that wants
big
to talk to
Giants
him.
fan.
Yeah.
But by the way, they're going to be really good when they have both of them.
Yeah.
Him in the slot and.
Well, you just remember this conversation to
I will.
know I'm not some bandwagon. Oh, I like the
And I
Giants
want to
now.
give my wife credit. I will tell this. My wife, 6 weeks ago, whenever the kids started playing, my wife was like, Odell Beckham Jr., watch.
I said
Watch.
it too. And I didn't even know what I would say.
Well, as long as we're just making stuff up.
No
I said
idea.
that I've been an Odell Beckham Jr. fan for like 5 years.
Well, he went to LSU. It's not inconceivable.
No, I know. I'm a big LSU supporter.
Yeah. All right, we sort of derailed there.
Lawrence Taylor was great at WrestleMania, by the way.
And is that what started for you? That's why you're a Giants fan.
That's right. I loved Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania.
Him and Bam
He was
Bam.
so bad.
Flying forearm?
Lawrence Taylor was like on his knees, breathing as hard as he could for 3/4 of that match.
One day we do have to rank the worst,
Celebrity matches.
and athlete appearances. And we had Tyson on the show last week.
Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
On this show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Tyson Beckford.
That would be
The
even
model.
better.
That would have been my asset.
Mike Tyson was on Cheap Heat?
He called to GP last week.
That's huge.
It was good. I don't know if our fans were into it or not. Do people like it?
Are you kidding me? That's Mage.
It was. It was pretty good.
Super Mage.
Chipperstein just popped so hard. That was the most sincere use of something that you hated 20 minutes ago that I've ever heard. But Tyson, we said to Tyson, like, why not just do it? Like, at this point, like, why not have a year run? We're like, that's what you do. Like, wouldn't you think WWE would go for that?
100%.
Not even a question, right?
100%.
If you can have him on TV every week.
100%.
And now that he's done his Broadway show, it's like he could probably talk now and improvise more.
Yep.
Like,
They'd pay him a lot of money for it, too.
and he was like, and the interesting thing that he said that I was hoping, and by the way, I realized, I need to get I wanted to send our show out to blogs this week to get the Tyson thing out there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to send the show out because I don't know how people would listen. I could send the YouTube thing out, I guess, but like
You can
that,
send the link of
that
the
doesn't
podcast.
but then when they click it, it'll allow them to just go straight to the podcast.
Yeah, just go to the ESPN radio link.
And there's a direct link, though, for just our podcast.
Yeah.
And people can go right there. I sound like an idiot who's never made a podcast in my life, but I just wasn't sure. But I was just going to pose the question. I wonder if that's a feasible thing, why that wouldn't happen. I would like to see Mike Tyson on wrestling every week. That would make me more interested in watching wrestling every week.
Yeah.
Huge. And he would if he would commit to just wrestling pay-per-views but doing promos every week, that's all he would need.
Also, he doesn't know how to wrestle. I mean, we need to get.
How much work would he
Lawrence
have to
Taylor,
do?
and he was amazing.
You can do one match.
How much work do you think Mike Tyson would have to do to be able to have a serviceable match?
Well, do you think he's in any decent shape right now? I mean,
Looks great.
he looks great.
He looks great.
I've been up to the studio a bunch. I know he looks great, but like his cardio. Like, do you
I think he
he's-
runs. I think he runs and is in the gym. That's it.
I think it would be awesome. I think it would take a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
Couldn't he just have a super punch and that's it?
Yeah. Like the Big Show. I mean.
Yeah. How different would he have to be?
Yeah, ask Mark Henry.
Yeah, that punch. I mean, Mark didn't even have a chance. I'm surprised that Mark was so surprised by that. You would think if you sprint full steam ahead at the Big Show, the one thing to look for is that knockout super punch.
Watch that hand.
Well, it's surprising he doesn't try for it more, to be honest with you.
Why don't you just use it at the beginning of a match?
It's like going back to football. It's like when people say, "Why don't you just throw Hail Marys every single down?" Because they seem to work about half the time. You
right.
know? I mean,
that's why it doesn't work that way, so he saves it.
yeah.
All right, we completely have derailed.
Big Show, by the way, before we get away from him, had his career, the best promo of his career on Monday night. And for any of you that haven't seen it, I recommend that you go watch it. He was also wearing a black suit with a purple shirt, which as all listeners know, I disagree with.
Black suit with a purple shirt?
Yeah, it's kind of Joker-ish.
Well, especially you disagree with it because you're a man who wears black on black all the time. You're AC/DC.
But not with a suit, not with a nice suit.
They're back to
we
black.
We talked
whatever.
about this.
Yeah, I know. No, you give me good advice. You give me sage advice, and I take it. You have a lot of you never. I will say one thing about you though that makes us different. I never go You wear a t-shirt under actually, but I don't wear t-shirts under. I was gonna say I never go that extra button down.
Oh yeah, because I like my t-shirts.
So you always have a V-neck on of some variety.
I always wear undershirts. Yeah.
Always. I used to.
You.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's not
that really is
it's
good.
because
That
I'm
is good for
tall.
you.
If I scratch my head, you can see my stomach.
Oh,
But you don't have a
guys.
bigger shirt because then it's bigger
I'm wearing
everywhere.
larges that are bigger than This is weird. This is the clothing corner on this week's. Cheat
So
Sheet.
real quick, Shoemaker, I did get an item this week on eBay.
That's exciting.
I'm going to show it to you guys.
Oh yes.
And I'm still really upset with you about what happened.
I tried on the sweatshirt for everybody that came over to watch the pay-per-view on Sunday.
What this?
What sweatshirt?
I got a vintage Macho Man sweatshirt, like the lavender with
Oh,
the
that's so
sunglasses.
dope.
Yeah, it might fit you. You might be the only person in this
What,
room
was it
who
too
would
small
really
for
fit.
you?
No, I can wear it. I just look like a hipster.
So what he failed to tell you is that he texted me.
As soon as I got it, I wanted.
as
It
soon
was like $40.
It?
Yeah,
It was like hidden. It wasn't. He texts me and goes.
Give you 44 for it.
No, I believe me, I already tried. He texts me and goes, "Look what I got." Sends the picture of it, and I'm like, "You lowlife piece of shit! I was the high bidder on that until you got it."
his high bid was like $30. Though.
It wasn't
Like,
that. Well, it was super low at the time, and then I forgot. It was like a stupid Redskins game or something, and I got caught up in the Matrix.
I get it. Football.
See, you
I
understand
get it.
now. That's what's so nice about this. So here's the item I won this week.
I've gotten a whole lot. By the way, a whole lot of old WCW comic books from eBay in the
love
mail.
those things.
I'm maybe working on a little piece about it, and they're the worst things I've ever read. in my
When
life.
I was a kid, I lived in England, and we didn't have WCW on TV.
It's so crazy.
But
you
we
just
had-
threw that in there.
We had WCW magazine and WCW comic books. So literally, there was a period of time where all of my WCW information came from the Marvel comic books. Like Dangerous Alliance,
Yeah.
Sting, the Black Scorpion, all that stuff. All that knowledge was simply from the comic books.
You thought Ron Simmons was the biggest wrestler in WCW? for a long
Yeah.
time? Oh my God! Peter's showing me what he got right now. This is maybe the most impressive.
It's fully
piece of memorabilia.
operational, by the way, and much better than the other cheap ones that I have. This is a more real.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a real. That's a real thing.
So it's a digital watch.
But it's not like the colored plastic band ones that I have. It's more like a traditional looking black Casio looking watch.
He's pointing right at you, isn't he?
Except it's Macho Man. Just
Macho
pointing
Man
right
Randy
at
Savage's
you.
face.
That is pretty
That's
good,
great.
right?
I
eBay's
love,
the best.
I love your awful digital watch collection.
It's getting pretty strong.
It is.
If I do say so myself.
Are you wearing a digital watch right now?
I'm not. I never wear them. They're tiny. You can't even get them on your wrist.
Well, they're
I'm
designed
hoping
for
this one's
children in
big-
the 80s.
By the way, note to self: according to WWE merchandising, people were tiny in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The T-shirts, the watches,
They were.
everything is tiny.
have an
we
obesity
hadn't gotten all
epidemic.
fat yet. Yeah.
we hadn't gotten fat by the 80s.
Yeah, go back and watch what's a very you can't do that on television or something.
And look at the audience.
There's like
Atlantis was skinny.
Yeah, everybody was like bone thin, except there'd be like one the kid who I thought of as like the fat kid was like skinnier than me right now. They were just wearing really tight shirts.
It's so crazy that it's happened that quickly. Guys, we've gotten off the path a bit. So where else do we need to cover here that we really want to talk about in terms of wrestling? Sam, do you come to the table with anything that you really wanted to get off your chest?
I mean, the Sting stuff is a story, right?
Yeah, we didn't
got
bury the
Sting.
lead.
No, I mean Sting's the main thing. That's what everyone's going to come here listening for. Listen, it's awesome. I'm excited about Sting.
So okay, so real quick. So what's the next thing we're going to see from Sting?
I would hope that he's not on TV for a little while. I wouldn't mind not seeing him until like Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
And does Triple H mention him during that time?
Is Triple H going to be on TV during that time?
Oh, that's right.
Well, that's the question. What do you guys think about the general
Oh, I
manager
didn't tell you
thing?
the final how the show ended. You losers who didn't watch Raw.
Sorry.
Yeah.
As the main event is ending, there's a really
Sting in
weird
the rafters.
Nope.
Damn it.
Yeah,
weird-
and then he came down from the ceiling.
Weird but strangely memorable dinging sound goes through the entire arena. And after a minute of weird lights flickering, whatever, they go over to the announcers and they're like, "What is that?" And then they sort of pan over to the side.
Don't say it.
Yep, the anonymous Raw general manager
You're
is
jo-
back.
you're-
I'm not joking. Rosenberg's throwing things right now.
They did not bring back the Raw anonymous
I'm
general
so glad I
manager.
waited till we were on the air to tell you this.
Which, by the way, we know it's Hornswoggle, right?
Yeah, this has been established.
It's Hornswoggle under the ring.
Maybe this is promoting the
Why?
Leprechaun
Why
movie.
they bring? Oh, they did that to replace the Authority.
No, it's every week there's a new general manager right now. I'm assuming, or is this? Do you think the Raw general manager is there for keeps?
I think it's one night of Daniel Bryan, and now we have the anonymous Raw general manager. Unless they were just going for cheap heat, but they ended the show with it.
I I guess I felt like that was just for next
It was
week.
just a joke.
But maybe that's wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah, it said like Law and Order comes back to Raw next week or whatever.
Because my understanding was that because we had Daniel Bryan for 1 week, and they said who, like they advertised it, find out at the beginning of Raw who is tonight's general manager.
Right.
It made me think that they're just doing something where every week now they have a different general manager. But that's just the way I understood it. I guess could be wrong.
I think we should bring back People Power.
I bet you do. You probably loved him. You loved Johnny Ace, didn't you?
He was great.
You really liked him?
Yeah.
Oh,
I would have.
He was he was so hilarious. It was
I saw even Sam look away in a feeling of like kind of anger.
All right, we need to figure out who the best authority figure would be. And I don't want to hear your Stone Cold Steve Austin's. First of all, he's too busy. He's too important for this job.
No, he's got a huge podcast on the network that must be
Also,
aired.
it wouldn't be good. I'm just gonna be the guy who says this. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mick Foley, neither of those guys would be good general managers of Raw.
You know, it would be Ric Flair would be.
Ric Flair would not be bad.
Ric Flair would be good. You know who would be good? Paul Heyman would be good.
I think it's just unrealistic when you take a wrestler. This is like kayfabe, totally. But why would you take a wrestler and put him in charge of Raw?
That makes no sense.
It even makes sense to give Eric Bischoff the job again because he has some managerial backstage experience.
Right.
You know? Like,
Why just give it to another wrestler who's going to instantly get involved in wrestling things?
no.
But I think.
How
Paul-
about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here comes the money.
I cannot tell you how many tweets and emails
I know.
I've gotten about that.
But
this
isn't he
week.
definitely not coming back?
I think that's the thing. Like, I don't know why we think Shane McMahon's real life is a wrestling storyline. That he would
Coming
just,
back at some point, guys. He's not going to never come back.
Well, he might come back for a night or something, but he has another job.
Yeah, but he
doesn't appear to like wrestling.
You know,
We're spoiled by the fact that every single person that's ever been on our TV screen would fall over themselves to be on Raw.
Yeah.
If invited at any moment.
Like imagine
but
if
it's
it
your
was
dad's company. It's on the-
exactly. You grew up with it. It's your dad's gig, and you're kind of enjoying branching out and doing something else.
When we were watching them interact, Stephanie and Vince interact on Sunday, my buddy Tom just turned over. He was not, again, I've mentioned before, not the biggest wrestling fan. He was just like, I'm so glad that my relationship with my father doesn't involve just ironic play acting in front of people. But yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, like I'm sure Shane will pop up on a WrestleMania or something like that. But like, if you're one of the shareholders, the board members of his company, why in the world would you want to like delegitimize your business by letting him go be a clown
Isn't
on
like
TV?
a Chinese weird company that
It's a yeah.
Pay-per-view type.
they wouldn't. Would it really affect business? I mean, he's not going to come back now anyway, but I think he will come back one day, and probably in a long-term way. I think at some point.
But yeah, it's just everyone else that's ever come back is just like waiting by the phone. Shane's like the one guy that won't, but like no one can really wrap their head around.
What about the aforementioned Mike Tyson?
I mean,
Are you really going to mess with him as an authority figure?
no, I think it'd be really cool. I mean,
Could you imagine just how Wheels Off? I mean, the only
Oh, wheels! It would be, but that's what would and
that
make it
would be
must-see
that's,
TV.
that's what would be
Yeah.
good about it.
It's Mike Tyson with a hot mic, and you're like, Mike, you can't curse, but you can be you, and here's where you're trying to go, and just be you. He's gonna mess up. There are gonna be funny, ridiculous things that happen where he says things. Do you realize how many signs and shirts would get made from misspoken moments by Mike Tyson on that show?
it would get mainstream talking again.
It would.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would love if they somehow got a real authority figure in there.
Like
You
an
mean
actual police officer.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you mean like a government official?
General Norman Schwarzkopf would be my.
Schwarzkopf! That was the first Schwarzkopf reference in so long. Storm and Norman.
I know. I have like a whole stack of Schwarzkopf jokes. It's really unfortunate.
I'm so sorry
Yeah,
that that's happened
right,
to you.
Right
'cause-
next to the NASA jokes in my file cabinet.
Oh, man.
But no, like I love seeing my old favorite wrestlers come back. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's more fun and interesting when it's someone with actually like some sort of semblance of a real life stake in the action.
Well, what about Paul Heyman and the fact that Brock Lesnar still has a score to settle? With
I
the
wouldn't mind
Authority?
Paul Heyman. He's been a real life company.
I think
showrunner.
Paul Heyman's break is serving him very well. I know you guys don't believe this because every time he comes out on the screen and talks, you guys need to change your pants. But
You're just mad that he gave me a hug at WrestleMania and only shook your hand. And that's the
For
truth.
the record, I was wearing yesterday's pants. I hadn't changed yet. No.
anyways,
He's good in small doses. He's better.
yeah, it just the impact of him week after week after week when they're relying on him so much, like please be the entertaining part of our show for 10-15 minutes of just talking. I don't know if every week as a GM.
I mean, he did
I don't know
for
that
a few
well-
weeks, and it worked. And
It
how
did.
long do you think this is going to last before
Good point.
the Authority is back in power?
And
It's not. I think the Authority will be back in power before long.
I don't think so.
You don't.
I
It's
think
over.
I think that Triple H and Sting is going to go to WrestleMania without the Authority, and then the Authority will. Wow, man, this is based on. I've not thought deeply about this, and then the Authority would come back afterwards. Is how I was thinking.
You think so?
Also, the stipulation is that the only person that can bring him back is Cena. So there's that was Vince's stipulation.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about them like sliding back into your DM. Like they're not just going to
slide up in your DMs.
They're not going to like reappear next week. It's going to be part of a storyline where either, Triple H begs Cena to let him come back because Triple H becomes a good guy and he's trying to like take out Brock Lesnar or something like that, or
Cena
turns heel.
Or, and I'm just saying we're falling down the fantasy booking spiral right now, but if Paul Heyman's in charge and he won't give John Cena his title match,
that's what I mean. Cena's not fully turning heel, but he needs to bring back someone who's going to be on his side.
I'll bring you back Triple H if you'll take Paul Heyman out of power and you'll give me the match.
And then of course we wouldn't get the heel turn. We would just get the John Cena rolling his eyes. Like, I have to do it.
You can't really think there's going to be a John Cena heel turn.
That's as heel-y as we're going to get.
It's not going to happen.
I have
You know
to
what
say,
will happen if
nothing
there's
will
a
be-
John Cena heel turn? He'll
What?
make his entrance from the ceiling.
Do you want to make a bet? You want to make a bet right now?
Mm-hmm.
What's the bet?
John Cena will never turn heel. Well, we got to have.
Is that it?
There's got to be a pay date.
Well, the pay date is when he gets into the Hall of Fame.
I love it.
Which, by the way,
It could be next year.
that will be the day. It will be the day he.
Can I ask a really stupid question that, as a wrestling journalist, I should know the answer to?
Yes.
Is the fact that this Macho Man documentary exists and that Lanny is obviously so heavily involved, that means Macho's going in this year, right?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I would
too.
think so.
Because
I spent a lot of time with Lanny to get
all
this
that
done.
we were
I
waiting
got a lot
for-
of stuff from him.
And can you imagine how much video they must have shot of him? Because if you've ever heard him on a podcast, he's saying poems like 75% of the time. Like, they made Lanny look great.
Yeah.
You're 100%
Which means there
right.
were hours.
By the way,
hours of footage.
I haven't gotten. Sorry, this is a douchey thing to say. I'm not actually putting myself over, but I've been on the list of getting DVDs for a long time. I haven't gotten this, and I'm like, I might have to just go out and buy it.
Bought it.
You
I'm on the list. I didn't get
You
it.
haven't gotten either? Yeah, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it.
they're probably holding it.
Unreleased. Yo, Sam, you are a loser, and I love you and I respect you.
Plus, it's Macho Man, okay? They send DVDs. That's a Blu-ray copy I want. I want the extras.
Yeah. There we go. That's what
I
a
don't
real
have a
fan
Blu-ray
sounds
player.
like.
What?
I don't have a Blu-ray player.
Most DVD players are Blu-ray players.
Let's so a Jace.
No, not quite. I was almost there. Now, no, you know what DVD player I have? This is so random.
How do you not have a Blu-ray player in 2014? You're a media personality.
The only DVD player I use in my house currently is
like an Xbox?
no. It's first of all, I hope you guys appreciate this. There's something to appreciate about it. I went out and bought what I'm pretty sure was the last television set with built-in DVD player, and that's the only one I use.
Wow.
You don't have a video game thing or anything?
I have a video game thing, but like I don't know. I'm not in the.
What is it?
I had an Xbox. I got an Xbox.
Oh, I don't think Xbox.
That's
I just
I'm like to video games. I am to video games what you were to football
Word.
as of 6 months ago.
Yeah, me too.
Were past tense.
Come over and play Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly, and then all of a sudden, maybe I'm a video game guy.
I think
and
so.
I'm like Sam. I'm changing like Sam
I'm
Roberts.
actually in the same boat. I don't do games at all.
Do you have a Blu-ray though?
Yeah. I mean, just incidentally, I never use it.
Could you just buy a cheap Blu-ray the way you buy a cheap DVD player?
Yeah.
Like for like $50?
Yeah, $75. Yeah.
I wonder if I'd ever do that. How much extra stuff is on the Macho one? I'd consider getting just for that.
All the Macho Man, all the Blu-rays have like 4 or 5 extra matches usually, right?
Yeah,
mean,
I
not
think
more than
so.
that. And it's like 2 discs instead of 3 discs, and it's like 4 or 5 extra matches.
I loved seeing the early promos of him that I've never seen. I haven't
So
even watched
good.
the whole thing. I just watched the little preview. But in
A
that
lot of them
preview-
are on YouTube, dude. I mean, but they're just
I
like,
know, I
really
know.
grainy and terrible. This was the best version of it.
Of course.
And I like how it looks like it's like graphics from like early Atari graphics with his name across the bottom, and
So
it'll
good.
just say Macho Man.
So good. And also, last night I was watching a little bit of the. Actually, I love that the network's adding enough stuff that like it creeps up on me. I don't realize something's there, and I
Yeah.
find it. It's starting to get there.
That's really nice.
I was watching Rivals, Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair.
Good.
Last night. It was really good. And they showed a Flair promo when he was just starting.
Mhm.
I've never seen him as
this
like the
is-
really unpolished version of trying to be the nature
Fat
boy.
Ric Flair?
No, a little past
yeah.
fat,
But like
trying to
tie-dyed briefs, Ric Flair?
no,
That's it.
starting to get into Nature Boy, but
Right.
he didn't have it down yet. He
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, it just wasn't all there.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to watch. And we got to wrap this up.
We don't have to. We could just keep going for another hour.
Listen, believe me, the losers listen to this thing.
Well, one
They wish
other
we could
thing
go
that
24
probably
hours a day.
bears mention is, speaking of, I mean, I brought up Stone Cold Steve Austin earlier, but he's got Bray Wyatt. They're hyping it all over the network, and then next week they're doing a live Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast on the network after Raw with him and Vince.
Are you really telling that to the people watching this, listening to this, as if they don't know? They promoted it 9 times. Cole had Colegasms for it.
Well, I mean,
Why are you being a hater about it?
What do you mean?
wait, everybody's listening to this has watched Raw and the pay-per-view.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So why you just announced it as if that was a thing? He just was like,
We've just been talking about the pay-per-view for an hour.
Yeah.
oh, like that was announced. You're just saying that was something that was announced.
You know what the
It
thing
was
is?
no, and we can now talk about it.
Rosenberg's got this radio thing in him where he feels like since this is a podcast, other podcasts are competition.
Oh, I see.
And
What do
he
you mean?
doesn't.
Oh, like I'm
I
dissing
can
Stone
feel
Cold?
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Who is this Stone Cold? Does he really know how to
Just
podcast?
like when you texted me, and now it's like I've been on this show like 2 or 3 times already, and you texted me and you're like, I don't know though, are we doing like a crossover thing or what? I mean,
True.
you've got
Well, no, I did think at first it would be a good idea to have this show be your show and our show.
Right.
But then I thought it's kind of a ripoff for the people who listen to both of our podcasts.
Right.
And so I was like, we should probably just do another one and come on yours.
Yeah.
right.
Makes more sense.
The one interesting thing, I mean, one thing worth pointing out is that they scheduled the Vince McMahon.
For December 1st,
Yeah.
once the freebies are gone.
Yeah.
So,
But
great.
here's the thing: when it's on the network, is it just going to be like it's going to be the video of them recording the podcast?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder. Number one, they've been talking about Stone Cold doing this for a while, so I wonder if he's going to start doing this more regularly. I wonder. Obviously, they'll let him release it as a podcast, so I guess that's what makes it a live podcast. I'm assuming though
It's going to be more like a
they're
WWE.
just going to do it from Stamford. I would assume that they haven't rigged up the Broken Skull Ranch with cameras. That would be cool to get like Dan
that
Patrick
would be-
Show type thing in the Broken Skull Ranch, and we're actually seeing the podcast. I would assume Stone Cold's just going to host it from Stamford, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Stone Cold
I mean,
gonna-
he's done a lot of them from wherever he is.
Yeah, but it'd be cool to
He did Ric Flair in the hotel room. I mean, he's
Like-
done a lot of those things.
like for it to be
Yeah, they're not going to put it on the network like that though. So it's going to be a higher end.
like
looking
this
one.
is Stone Cold's podcast. If we had a studio that is the Stone Cold podcast studio, I think
Right.
that would be what makes it cool. I would assume though that they'll just kind of decorate Stanford the way they did for the ECW deal with Paul
Yeah.
Heyman and Joey Styles.
I wonder if he will stop in the midst of interviewing Vince McMahon to promote pills, testosterone pills.
That would be great.
I would really look forward to that.
Or if mid
it's
sentence
gonna-
he just goes, "And hell, you could kiss my ass," and stuns him. Just drops one.
Oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. Before we go,
Well, we got mail,
no,
dude.
there's no mail today.
No, we got to do mail.
I'm sorry, no, we don't. We have to go. I
You're
don't have
doing a
time.
thing.
American
My
males.
thing's so much better than whatever this Jace mail is going to be. And my thing is so wrestling yet not wrestling. It's awesome. Guys, you want a storyline?
Yeah.
How about this? I'm trying to live my life. I'm trying to do a radio show. I'm trying to perform and be a professional. And the other day, while I'm not here, LL Cool J comes to the station to promote something, okay? He comes up here, and this man records drops. Sam, explain what drops are.
You see, folks, drops are when a celebrity comes up and just gives a shout out to the radio station, to the host, just says, "Hey, this is Justin Timberlake, and you're listening to Z100." That's a drop.
I don't know why he just plugs Z100, but yes, that is exactly right, Sam. And LL Cool J was up here the other day. I was not here. However, he didn't realize that the person recording this was someone who might let me know that something was going on. And listen to what LL said.
Man, to go LL Cool J. You need to wake up, B. Ebro in the morning with Laura Styles and Rosenberg, you heard? Rosenberg, meatball. You a meatball, man. Let's just get that out the way. All right, now, next,
I wish I was famous enough that I could have people around me laughing that hard when I call someone a meatball.
Who works there?
LL Cool.
Those are people laughing in my building.
Right, well, they're impressed. He's a celebrity. Watch CSI or whatever.
Why did he have to do, by the way, did he have to do the Dr. Evil? He laughed for 10 minutes.
I think LL Cool J is now the biggest baby face on this podcast.
Yeah,
like
LL's over huge with the podcast right now, but I'm telling you one thing.
What's that?
LL Cool J has a concert to do for the station on December 19th.
Oh, boy.
On December
Nicki Minaj, this guy.
on December
Nicki Minaj.
20th. No, I'm going to let him get through the concert.
Okay. Oh, good for you. What a big person
I'm
you
going
are.
to let him get through the concert, but after that, you want to talk about a feud brewing. You want to talk about a Royal Rumble match opportunity.
You can wait till after the concert to start the feud?
Well, no, I'm going to be talking it up till then, but I got to let the concert. I can't get involved with the station's money.
If you want to be serious, you should just threaten to never play his music on your underground hip hop show again.
Or just threaten to not play any new LL Cool J music.
Well, wait, let's do speed round with reader mail because
Quick,
they're going to be mad.
quick,
Okay.
man.
Eugene Evans, this is you each get to say yes or no. After the main event, should Cena have stayed in the back to let Dolph have the spotlight to himself?
No.
I think I agree.
No, Cena should have returned.
He did. And
But he should have returned when Dolph was getting destroyed.
He's a really terrible team leader.
I think it's all teasing us, of course.
But he doesn't want Dolph to
From
lose,
Adam
but-
Newland, with Luke Harper Dean Ambrose match getting a good 15 minutes on Raw. Oh yeah, last night it was Dean Ambrose versus Harper. Was that the best, or what are the best Jeans versus Jeans matches of all time? It's got to involve Dusty Rhodes, and it's got to be like a Texas street fight.
British Bulldog had some good years wrestling
know.
in jeans.
Oh, I know, but was he fighting anybody else? I guess the Attitude Era, like half of the crowd.
Him and Sean could have had a Gene situation going.
Balls Mahoney and Ian Rotten or Axel Rotten.
Wait, okay, so it's kayfabe question of the week. We'll end on this from Alex Seaver. I can understand the announcers knowing who Sting is because they've watched him on the network and, they keep up. But how did he have an entrance video and music ready without Triple H knowing about it?
You could say that about anybody. Surprised? Or like, how does anybody who sneaks up on Triple H, how does that music get played?
We've asked
You've
that
had this before. I think the Sting thing, well, there's two ways you can go. One, the entrance music and video is a sort of metaphysical occurrence that just happens when somebody walks through gorilla position.
Good point.
There's like a genie or something involved.
Look, I figured it out. It's 2014.
You're going to go where I was going to go. I like so go ahead.
Sting's got a MacBook Pro.
Yes.
He's got GarageBand,
Yep.
and he's got Final Cut.
Yep.
It's really that simple. He plugged his thing,
And-
he walked to Gorilla, he said, hey, kid, plug this in.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, it's Sting the Icon.
And this is
Exactly.
This
They
is
got the network,
But no,
too.
here and this really actually it all comes together. One, we're trying to figure out why they didn't use Sting's music. Well, I mean, Sting doesn't have the clearance to use his own music. He
Right.
just used whatever generic stuff he could make himself or
On
find.
GarageBand.
On GarageBand.
Right, WWE
And
has that
two,
music.
That's why all the
Right.
videos were just close-ups of his face because he was like holding his iPhone camera in front of his face in a dark room and taking flash photos.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Selfies.
yeah.
I think it's the first time we've ever concretely answered
It makes so much more sense if you think Sting just like walked in and handed a DVD.
100%.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we successfully answered a kayfabe question for the first time, I think. And Sam Roberts is a professional
You're the Dolph
broadcaster.
Zigglers of this show.
Sam Roberts is the
Host of Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast
and also the host of the Sam Roberts Show.
on Sirius XM.
But you still haven't had me back up to do. You haven't had me on your new show, the Sam Roberts Show.
That's right. I've been
So-
busy. We're in best of this week. Otherwise, I would invite you.
Ah, damn it! I'm waiting for my invite. And then there's also what?
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be on my podcast this week. If you have time right now, you can be on my podcast.
What do you mean right now, like this moment?
Like after we're done recording.
Oh
this.
my God, that sounds like a nightmare.
Well, that's why you don't get invites.
And then also he's on Opie and Anthony every day.
Yeah. Everybody
And,
knows. NotSam.com, not Sam on Twitter. Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. You got it.
He's a professional broadcaster, guys.
Yeah, I know.
The broadcast journalist, unlike
No,
some
no.
people in this room.
You know, I'm a broadcast journalist. He's a professional broadcaster. It's very different. I don't want to step on your. You see how I want to?
stop?
You see how I want to
appreciate
infringe on your? No, that's his trademark. I will not infringe on it.
I appreciate that.
The same way I wouldn't want you to start a show now that's called the Sam Roberts Show with Sam Roberts because you've seen that this is something I've started.
Are you really going to keep it going, though?
I don't know.
You probably lose interest
No.
quick.
I like it though.
mean,
I
you
want
like
it to be a
because it's
home.
one
I want it to be a home simply for interviews that don't fit on Juan Epstein, cheap. You know, they don't, the stuff that I have that doesn't fit anywhere else
Right.
could go on the Peter Rosenberg Show with
Yeah.
Peter Rosenberg.
So it's not a regular thing.
It wouldn't be a regular. It would just be a gem. And then when I'm
Like your thoughts on
disgraced and
Pop
kicked out of
culture?
this radio station, I probably have to make it more regular. Hey, at Rosenberg Radio, at AK the Masked Man, guys. Thanks for tuning in to
and
CP.
remember everybody listening out there who's struggling through sad parts of their life. In 10 years, you could go from the Spirit Squad to saving the day at Survivor Series 2. See you later, humanoids.
You don't plan your big outros without including me. This is unbelievable.
It was good.
Peckerheads.
Thank you for listening to Grantland. To hear more Grantland shows in your earballs, subscribe to Grantland Sports and Grantland Pop Culture on iTunes. Or go to grantland.com and click on podcasts.